Welcome to another deep dive, and this time we're cracking open David Gemmell's Lord of the Silver Bow.
An excellent choice. It's one of those books that really grabs you. And I think a lot of people familiar with the Trojan War might expect just another retelling.
Right.
But Gemmell flips the script. He takes these iconic figures and throws in these what-if scenarios that make you rethink everything.
Yeah. Like with Helicon, right? I mean, talking about a transformation, you start with him as this shipwrecked kid barely clinging to life. That image of young Xander tying him to the mast during that storm. I mean, wow.
So powerful, right? You have a prince stripped of everything, his life hanging by a thread, and he's completely dependent on this child.
Right, right.
It's raw vulnerability.
It is. And then you fast forward and he's this hardened leader ordering executions without hesitation. It's almost like watching two different people.
Yeah, yeah. It makes you wonder, right? How does Gemmell make that transition so believable?
Exactly.
I think it's because Helicon's journey isn't just about him becoming tougher. It's about the weight of power, the complexities of leadership. Each decision, each act of violence, it chips away at him, pushing him further down this path where brutality becomes almost like a tool.
Like a tool for survival.
Right, a tool for survival, for leadership. It's a slippery slope, that's for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. The further down that path he goes, the more isolated he becomes. That scene where he gives King Cagones the head of his friend Zidontus. Chilling.
It's brutal, but it's calculated. You see the cost of power in that moment, the psychological toll it takes.
He's willing to sacrifice everything, friendship, his morals, everything,
Yeah, to stay in control.
to achieve his goals. It makes you wonder, what's the real price of leadership?
Oh, absolutely. And Gemmell really brings that home, especially when you look at the political maneuvering happening around Helicon.
Priam, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Priam, the king of Troy, he's constantly scheming, desperate to solidify his power,
Even using his own daughter as a pawn.
right? Trying to marry Crusa off to Helicon to secure that alliance. Talk about playing the game.
And Helican, he just shuts it down.
Refuses the offer. Bold move, especially when you consider the potential benefits.
But he sees through Priam's schemes. He's not to be manipulated.
Exactly. That alliance, it sets the stage for this simmering tension between Troy and Dardania.
Adds another layer of complexity to the whole political landscape. And then you have that bombshell Priam drops on Helican, the truth about his father's assassination.
Orchestrated by Agamemnon.
Talk about a game changer.
Suddenly, it's not just about power grabs anymore. It's personal. It's about revenge. And that's where you see history repeating itself, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Personal grudges sparking huge conflicts, toppling empires.
Yeah. It makes you realize that history is shaped by these very human emotions, these vendettas.
Oh, for sure.
Speaking of people shaping destinies, we got to talk about Odysseus.
Ah, Odysseus. He's not just some cunning strategist here. He's a mentor to young Helikion.
It's an interesting dynamic, right? Odysseus sees Helican's potential, but he also sees the darkness inside him.
Oh, yeah. There's always this underlying tension between them, like a chess match, each one trying to outmaneuver the other.
Like when he basically forces Helicony to jump off that cliff. I mean, it's about conquering fear, sure, but it feels like more than that.
It's a test. It's Odysseus gauging Helikine's character.
Right. And that cliff, it's like a symbol, isn't it, for all of Helikine's inner struggles.
It is. You've got the fear of failure, the vulnerability, taking that leap. It's almost like Helikine proving his courage.
And foreshadowing the risks he'll take as a leader, right?
Exactly. And what about Odysseus's premonition about Hector? The sense that if Hector dies, it'll be a disaster for Troy.
Yeah. That's some serious foreshadowing.
It shows you how cunning Odysseus is. He understands that Hector, with all his honor and loyalty, he's a stabilizing force.
Right.
If he's gone, it creates a power vacuum. Chaos is going to follow.
Like Gemmell's warning us, almost, about how fragile peace can be.
Yeah, one wrong move, one key figure removed, and things can spiral out of control. Just look at history.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Absolutely, that uneasy truce after the palace massacre, Gemmell really uses that to hammer home how fragile peace can be.
Yeah, it's like everyone's just waiting for the next explosion. Priam especially. He's simmering. You could tell he wants to reassert control.
He's such a fascinating character. He craves stability, but then turns around and stirs things up.
Right. Like with the whole pirate incident on Petros. That felt deliberate.
Oh, absolutely. Priam knows it's going to infuriate Agamemnon. He's escalating the tension.
Yeah, yeah. On the surface, it looks like Helikine's doing the right thing, right? Ridding the Aegean of these brutal pirates. A hero.
Heroic, yes, but there are definitely strings being pulled behind the scenes.
Yeah. Helikine's disgusted by what those pirates did, sure. But he's also playing the political game, isolating Agamemnon, making him look weak.
It's clever, but it makes you question Helikion's motives. Is he really doing it for the good of everyone or for his own benefit?
right? Like, what does this say about leadership? Does it always have to be a little bit ruthless?
That's the big question Gemmell's wrestling with, right? Altruism versus self-interest. Helicon makes it clear that it's often a mix of both.
With a big dose of pragmatism thrown in.
Exactly. And speaking of complex motives, I was thinking about Argerios's journey in this book.
Oh yeah? The hardened Mycenaean warrior. Out for revenge.
But then he meets Laerdyke.
Priam's niece.
Yeah, and there's this love story that blossoms amidst all the chaos and bloodshed. It's like a tiny spark of hope in this dark world.
It shows that human connection can bloom even in the most unlikely places.
For sure, and you see Argerius start to question everything. His loyalties, his beliefs, his thirst for revenge.
He starts to see the humanity in the people he used to think of as enemies. It's a powerful change.
And a nice counterpoint to Helicon becoming more and more ruthless.
Right. While Helicon hardens, Argurios softens. Shows that even the toughest people can change.
Yeah. What about Andromache? She really defies expectations.
She does. Stuck in this world where men try to control everything, but she's so strong and resilient.
I mean, when Priam tries to humiliate her with that archery challenge,
Just awful.
awful, yeah, but she refuses to back down. She takes control.
Shows Priam and everyone else that she's not going to be defined by his cruelty.
Exactly. She's strong, she's capable, and she's not afraid to challenge those in power. And it reminds me of those women in history who fought for their rights, the ones who stood up and said no more.
Absolutely. It's like her conversation with Odysseus, too. He compares her to Hecabe, sees her potential.
It's a key moment because it shows Andromache as a real force. She's not just someone's wife or a princess. She's a leader in her own right.
I was thinking about the silver bow itself, too. It feels so symbolic of Helicoon's journey.
Oh, yeah. More than just a weapon, it's like a symbol of leadership, the burden of destiny.
And the fact that he gets it right after losing both Sidantus and Diomedes.
It adds this whole other layer, doesn't it? Like the bow itself has this duality.
It can be used for good to protect people, but it can also cause so much pain.
And he gets it just as he's stepping into this new role, having to make all these tough decisions.
It reminds me of those historical leaders facing impossible choices in times of crisis.
Yeah, yeah. Gemmell takes this myth, but he grounds it in the realities of the Bronze Age, that whole world of political upheaval, constant warfare.
And it feels so relevant to today, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. All those power struggles, the shifting alliances, the threat of conflict, it's all still happening.
It shows that some things never change, right? The human desire for power, the need for revenge.
It's timeless. And against all of that, you have Agathon's betrayal. It just explodes this illusion of stability inside Troy.
Yeah, I did not see that coming.
It was such a well-done twist. You see these cracks forming in Priam's rule, the resentment from his sons.
And then, boom, it all explodes into chaos.
It's a reminder that even the most powerful empires are vulnerable from within. It's that corrosive effect of ambition.
Right? Agathon just wants power so badly that he ends up hurting everyone, including himself.
It's a classic example of hubris, right? He's blinded by his ambition, doesn't see the big picture.
Yeah. And then Argurios, the enemy, ends up defending the very palace he was sent to attack.
It's because of Laodike. His love for her overcomes his need for revenge.
It's like Gemmell saying that even in the darkest times, love can shine through.
For sure. And it's a stark contrast to Agathon's downward spiral. All that hatred, that resentment, it just leads to destruction.
Then you have Hector's dramatic return, right? He shows up just in time to stop more bloodshed.
It's such a crucial moment for Helicon. He could have taken advantage of the chaos, tried to grab power for himself.
But he doesn't. He supports Hector's decision to show mercy.
It shows how much he's grown, his leadership, his sense of justice. It's evolving.
Like he's finally becoming the leader Odysseus wanted him to be. Strong, but compassionate.
Right. But he's not a pushover. That final fight with Kalanos,
Oh yeah, intense.
he's drawing a line. He's showing everyone, Agamemnon included, that he's not going to be controlled.
And his proposal to Helicia, I was rooting for them.
It's such a hopeful moment, a chance for peace, for stability, but, it can't last.
Yeah, that shadow of war is always there.
That ending with Helicia asking, when would we do this about the marriage?
It's like, whoa. The timing of everything.
It hangs there, A Gemmell reminds us that no matter how much we try, we can't always control what happens.
Fate has a way of intervening. You know that line at the end, when would we do this? It really makes you think, doesn't it? Like, yeah, they're talking about a wedding, but it's bigger than that. It's about fate, about this war that's coming no matter what.
Right. Gemmell saying that sometimes, even when things are good, there are these forces beyond our control.
Yeah, it's kind of a sobering thought. But it's what makes this book so much more than just an adventure story. It's about, what it means to be human, the choices we make, the things we have to deal with.
It's like he takes these larger-than-life figures from the myths and makes them relatable, shows us their flaws, their weaknesses.
Like with Helikuin, he starts out so traumatized. His mother's suicide, seeing all that violence. It would have been so easy for him to just give in to the darkness.
But he chooses to fight, wants to protect people, build something better, even if it means doing some pretty tough things.
And it's those choices, those compromises that make his journey so interesting.
Absolutely. And he doesn't do it alone either. He has people to guide him.
Odysseus showing him how to think strategically,
Yeah, yeah. And Andromache?
teaching him about compassion, about standing up for what's right.
And you could even say Argurius, in a way, teaches him about forgiveness, about breaking free from the cycle of revenge.
It's like Helikuin's journey represents this idea that we can always grow, always change, even when things are really bad.
Right.
That ending gets me every time. Helikuin standing there on the beach, watching the Mycenaean ships sail away. You can just feel the weight on his shoulders.
Yeah, yeah. He knows war's coming, but he's not backing down.
And the silver bow, it takes on this whole new meaning.
It's not just about power anymore. It's about responsibility.
He's got to make choices that will affect everyone. He's at a crossroads, and the fate of nations is riding on it.
It's a powerful way to end the book. Leaves you with so many questions.
Like, what's going to happen to Helikuin? Can he stop the war? What about the other characters?
Andromache, Argorios, even Priam. What are their fates?
Gemmell builds this world that feels so real, so alive. You just want to know what happens next.
That's the mark of a great storyteller, isn't it? He doesn't just tell you a story, he pulls you right in and leaves you wanting more.
So for everyone listening, you might be thinking, why should I care about a book about a war that happened like forever ago?
Because the themes in Lord of the Silver Bow, they're timeless. It's about the human experience, choices, sacrifices, burdens. It's all still relevant today.
Yeah. Look at the world. We've got conflict, power struggles, people fighting for what they believe in.
Exactly. But even with all that, Gemmell reminds us that there's still hope. There's courage, compassion, love.
Even the smallest act of kindness, the smallest act of defiance, can change things. You might not see it right away, but it has an impact.
I'll leave you with this thought. What if the real Trojan War wasn't fought on some battlefield, but inside the people who were caught in the middle of it all? What if the true heroes weren't the warriors, but the everyday people just trying to survive?
That's something to think about, and it's just one of the many things that makes David Gemmell's Lord of the Silver Bow such a powerful and thought-provoking book. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so share your interpretations, keep the conversation going, and until next time, keep exploring.